My name is Joyce Slater, and we are here with Fractured Fairy Tales today. Now, what is a fractured fairy tale? That's a fairy tale that you know very well, like the Three Little Pigs or the Threebilly Goats gruff. And they're switched around, changed in some way. Maybe a different character, maybe a different situation, maybe a different ending. Listen up. All right. I'm going to start with the Three Little Pigs. Once upon a time, there were three little pigs. Now, they lived with their mama, and they were getting older and eating so much food in the house. She said one day to them, "I think you need to go out and find your own house and find your own food." Well, they were disappointed because their mother was such a good cook. Oh, my goodness. Well, the first one said, "All right," and he took his wagon out, and he looked for something to build a house with. He saw a man with a big barrel, and it was full of pickles. He loved pickles. "Ooh, I could build a house with pickles. That's what I'll do." So he bought the whole barrel of pickles, and with toothpicks and pickles, he built a house. It was a greenhouse. It was covered in pickles. He said, "And if I get hungry, I can eat a pickle." Well, the second pig, he thought to himself, "What should I build my house out of? I know, I'm going to build it out of corn. I love corn." And so he went to the local farmer, and he bought a whole truckload of corn. And the farmer even shucked it for him. Well, he took that corn and he built a house out of corn. And he said to himself, "Wow, I've got a whole house out of corn, and if I get hungry, I'm going to eat some corn." Now, the third pig, well, his favorite food was the slop that was in the sty. He didn't know how he would build a house out of that, but he loaded up all of that slop he could into a big wheelbarrow, and he started taking it to the place where he would build his house. Well, along the way, he wasn't looking where he was going, and he tripped on a rock, and he spilled all that slop right there in this pile of straw. Well, he gathered it all up, and he put it back into that wheelbarrow, but now it was like 4 times as much as he had before. A funny thing happened to that, too. With that straw, there was dirt. He knew he wouldn't want to eat that, but it was starting to get hard. So he built some bricks out of the straw and the slop and the dirt, and before long he had really hard bricks. They smelled good to him, but he knew he couldn't eat them. But he built his house with all those bricks anyway. Now, all 3 of those pigs were sitting in their houses, thinking how lucky they were, when who should come walking down the road but the big bad wolf. Now, he just happened to like pickles, and he saw that green house, and he said, "Wonder who owns this house? I'd like to have me a pickle." So he knocked on the door. He said, "Is that a pig in there?" And he said, "Yeah." He said, little pig, let me in. Would you? I want one of your pickles to eat." He said, "Not by the hair of my chinny chin chin. You're not eating my pickles." He said, "Well, if you don't let me have a pickle, I'll just blow it right off the house." So he huffed. Come on with me. You can do it too. He huffed and he puffed, and he blew off the whole side of the house, and he had a load of pickles that he was beginning to eat. Well, that pig, he didn't have a house anymore, So he ran to his brother's house, that corn house, remember? And his brother let him in. Well, after the wolf ate all those pickles, he was still hungry. He went to the house that was made of corn. He said, you know, I do like corn. Little pig, let me in. I want some of your corn. And the pig said, not by the hair of my chinny chin chin. You're not eating my corn. He said, well, I'll just blow some off then. I'll huff and I'll puff. And that's what he did. Come on, together with me. He huffed and he puffed and he blew off the side of that house. Corn was everywhere. Well, that wolf, he ate up a bunch of that corn. And he thought, I wonder what's going to happen now. Well, those two pigs ran to the third pig's house and locked themselves in. Well, there was no food in that house except a bag of dried beans. So the pig said, if you're hungry, we'll just put a big pot of water on the fire, and when it's ready, we'll pour in those beans, and we'll have beans for dinner. Well, here came the wolf. Now, he saw this house was made of bricks, but it didn't look like regular bricks. Maybe they were edible bricks. He said, little pig, let me in. I want to try some of your bricks. They said, not by the hair of my chinny chin chin. He said, well, I will huff and I will puff, just like I did with the pickles and the corn, and I'll blow this house to pieces. Go ahead. And so the wolf, he huffed and he puffed, but nothing happened. And he huffed and he puffed, and still nothing happened. And finally, he huffed and he puffed so much, he fell over. He was just so worn out. Then he looked up and he saw that there was smoke coming out of the chimney. So he climbed up on the roof, and down that chimney he went. And you know what happened? He landed right in that pot of boiling water. Whoa! Up he shot in that chimney, and he was gone. He never bothered them again. But those three pigs, well, they went back to those two other houses, and they gathered up all the pickles, and they gathered up all the corn, and they took it to the house of bricks. And you know, they invited their mother over, and she had lots of recipes for corn and beans and pickles. And the three pigs lived happily ever after. The end. Now, I've got another tale for you. You may not know this one, or you may know it. You may have heard this one a long time ago, maybe when you were just a little baby. I know my grandson used to love this story, only I've switched it up a little. This is Goldifant. Goldifant and the Three Bears. Now, Goldifant was a really cute little elephant with big ears and yellow hair. She had curls right in the middle of her forehead. Now, poor Goldifant, one day she left her house and she got lost. She was walking through the woods. She was moving this way and that way and this way and that way, and trees were falling left and right, and she had no idea where she was. Finally, she saw a little house in the woods. She knocked on the door. Rap, rap, rap. She knocked again. Rap, rap, rap. She knocked really hard. Boom! And you know, that whole door fell down inside the house. Nobody was home. She looked around. Nobody was there. Well, who lives here? Well, it was the Three Bears. She didn't know that earlier the Three Bears had been fixing oatmeal, and it was so hot they couldn't eat it. So what did they do? They poured it into bowls and they sat it on the table to cool. And then they went for a long walk in the woods in the other direction of Goldifant. Now, here they were out in the woods, not knowing a thing about what was going on in their house, when Goldifant said, I'm kind of hungry. And so she went to the first bowl and, well, it wasn't much. She ate the whole thing and she said, yuck, that's not very good. Maybe I'll try the next bowl. So she tried the next bowl. And she said, well, this isn't much better. I wonder if that last bowl is any good at all. But they had put sugar and honey and fruit in that bowl, and when she slurped that bowl, she said, yum, yum. Well, she practically ate the whole bowl, and now she was tired. Oh, I think I'll sit down, she said. And so she went to the big chair. When she sat in that chair, it just broke all to pieces. Well, this isn't a very good chair. She sat in the second chair. It broke all to pieces too. And then she sat in that third chair. Well, she just squashed it all together. All three chairs were broken right there on the dining room floor. Oh, she was so tired. She walked through the house, bumping everything as she went. She got to the bedroom. And there were 3 beds. There was a great big bed. There was a middle-sized bed. There was a little tiny bed. She couldn't fit in any of those beds. So she put her head on the baby's bed. She put her tummy on Mama's bed, and she put her feet on Papa's bed. And she fell sound asleep. Well, you know, those bears came home. Oh, yes, those bears came home. And when they walked in their house, they said, somebody has hurt our house. Somebody has broken our house. The door is flat on the ground. And when they looked around, Papa Bear said, somebody ate all my oatmeal. And Mama Bear said, somebody ate all my oatmeal. And Baby Bear said, somebody ate all my oatmeal and even broke my bowl. And then they looked at their chairs. Papa Bear said, somebody broke my chair. And Mama Bear said, somebody broke my chair. And Baby Bear said, mine is just squashed. So they went through the house because they could see left and right that something had been in there. Things were broken. And when they got to the bedroom, there on all 3 beds, there was Goldifant lying with her head on Baby Bear's bed, her tummy on Mama Bear's bed, and her feet on Papa Bear's bed. And they said, whoa, there it is. What is it? And Papa Bear said, well, I think it's an elephant. I've seen one before. Well, it was hard to wake her up. And when she did get up, she looked around, and they said, who are you? She said, I'm Goldifant. I'm lost. And so Papa Bear led her home. And you know, that little elephant never wandered away from home again. And that was the end of that story. Thank you. Thank you, little Goldifant. All right, she's going to go right down here and sit. And now, oh, what story do we have next? Let's see. Ah, a cape. Let me just put this around me. Once upon a time, there was a little girl. Her name was a Little Blue Riding Hood. Do you remember her? Little Blue Riding Hood? She had a blue cape. It was beautiful. It was the color of the midnight sky. Her grandmother had made it for her, and she loved it. She wore it everywhere. Everybody called her Little Blue Riding Hood. Some people called her Blue for short. Oh, she would walk around with that cape on and show it off. She was so pretty in that cape. It was a magical cape, let me tell you, because she could almost disappear when she put that cape on. It even had a hood. Now, when Little Blue Riding Hood would go out into the woods, no one even knew she was there. One day her mother said, Blue, you need to go see Grandma, because Grandma is not feeling very well, and I want you to take a basket of goodies for her. Well, Blue was just, she was just so excited because she loved her grandma. Her grandma had made her that beautiful blue cape, that one with the hood. And now she got to see her. Now her mother said, I'm going to give you a basket. It'll have some fruit and some cookies and some milk in it. Now you take this to Grandma, all right? Just stay on the path. Don't worry about it. Get there as soon as you can, and be careful about things along the way that have claws and teeth, because they could danger you. Oh, I'll be fine, said Blue. She wrapped her hood around her blue hood, and she took off. She walked along that path. Oh, it was a beautiful day. It was a beautiful day, and she picked flowers this way and that and put them in the basket for her grandma. But along the way, she saw an animal. It looked like a wolf to her, although she wasn't sure. She said, Are you a wolf? He said, Well, I might be. She said, What do you want? He said, Well, where are you going? I'm going to my grandma's house. He said, Well, maybe I'll go with you. She said, No, you shouldn't go to Grandma's house. She's not feeling well. You might get sick. He said, Well, I'll just go ahead and make sure she's okay. And so, Little Blue Riding Hood, she saw that wolf go along the path. I guess he knew where he was going. She just took her time getting to Grandma's house. But when she got close, she could hear something in Granny's house. Oh dear, that wolf is trying to hurt my Granny. And so she pulled her blue cape all around her tight so no one could see her. She pulled up her hood, and into the house she went. Now, there was something in Grandma's bed. It didn't look exactly like Grandma. She said, Grandma, what big teeth you have. Grandma, what big eyes you have. Grandma, what big nose you have. Grandma, what big ears you have. Grandma? Well, it just so happened that Grandma was in the closet, and she was fixing up her own blue cape. And Grandma came out, and they didn't need anybody else to help them. Do you know that Grandma and Little Blue, why, they got rid of that wolf all on their own, under the invisibility of the blue cape. And so Grandma and Blue, when they got rid of that wolf, they were just fine. They ate all the fruit and the cookies, and Blue got to spend the night with her grandma. And everything turned out fine. They lived happily ever after. And that was Blue. All right. Now, I know you've heard this story before. There were three goats, three billy goats, three hungry billy goats. And they had noticed that there was greener grass on the other side of the bridge. They decided they would just go across that bridge and get some of that grass. They didn't know there was a troll that lived under the bridge. Oh, that troll was the only place he could live. Everybody had pushed him out of every housing there was. And so there he was under the bridge. It was damp, it was cold, and he always had a nasty cold. He would be under the bridge. He would be blowing his nose. And people would walk across that bridge and make such noise. His head would hurt. It would pound and pound. He just wished that people would be more considerate of him. Well, this very day, there were the three billy goats. They got to the bridge, and the first one, the littlest one, said, "Oh, look, there is green grass over there. It's much greener than the grass we have at our house. I'm going first. I'm the littlest. I won't eat as much as the rest of you." And so across that bridge he went. Trap, 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 trap. Oh, that troll was under the bridge. His head was hurting so badly. "Please, please, don't go across my bridge," he said. "Please, just walk quietly if you're going to go." The little goat looked under the bridge and he saw this ugly troll, and he said, "Oh, what are you going to do? Are you going to eat me? That's what you're going to do, aren't you? You're going to eat me? Oh dear, don't eat me, don't eat me. I've got another brother. He's bigger. You could eat him. The troll said, "I'm not going to eat anybody." "Oh, yes, you are. And that little goat trumped across that bridge, trip, as fast as he could. Well, the middle-sized goat, he said, "Well, I think the littlest goat has had enough grass. I am going now." And so he got up on the bridge, and he was much louder and much bigger. Trip, trap, trip, trap, trip, trap. Oh, the troll held his head. "Oh, my goodness. Please, please, walk softly over my bridge. I'm under here, and I'm really sick. My head hurts. My nose is stopped up. Please, could you please just be quiet?" The second goat said, "What?" He looked under the bridge. He saw this very ugly troll under there, a big red nose, and holding his head, and he said, "Oh, you're going to try to eat me, aren't you? You're going to try to eat me. That's what trolls do. They eat goats. I know they do. You're going to try to eat me. What are you going to... No, don't eat me. Don't eat me." And the troll tried to explain he was not going to eat them, but that middle-sized goat, he didn't understand. And so he ran fast across that bridge. Trip, trap, trip, trap, trip, trap, trip, trap, trip, trap, trip, trap, until he got across to the other side. Now that poor troll, his head was just throbbing. He was... He was almost in tears by now, when the biggest billy goat stepped up on that bridge. Now this billy goat, he had a set of horns too. And the troll, he kind of looked out and thought, "Oh, please don't. Don't walk across my bridge, please." You know that's a magic word, don't you? But that big billy goat, he didn't pay one bit of attention. No. He got up on that bridge, and it was trip, trap, trip, trap, trip, trap, trip, trap. He got halfway across, and he could hear something under the bridge, and he peeked under the bridge, and he said, "Oh, there's an ugly troll under this bridge. Oh, my goodness, look at him. He's got a big red nose. His head looks twice the size it should be. What are you going to do? Are you going to try to eat me? You're going to try to eat me, aren't you? Oh, my goodness, trolls eat goats, don't they? Oh, my goodness, what am I going to do? What am I going to do? I'm going to run across this bridge." And he ran. Trip, 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 as fast as he could, as loud as he could. And that poor troll was under there. Oh, what am I going to do? Finally, he jumped up on top of the bridge. There he was, holding his head, blowing his nose, when that biggest billy goat came back. I knew it, you're going to try to eat us. And he took his little horns and he flipped that poor troll out into the water. And off he floated down the river, never to be seen again. But those 3 billy goats, they were so fat when they got through that day, they could hardly walk across that bridge. Trip, trap, trip, trap, trip, trap, trip. The end. Do we have time for one more? All right. Once upon a time, there was a frog. He was ugly. He was really, really ugly. He knew he had no real spell on him. He would never be a handsome prince. All he wanted to do was find a friend. This princess used to come out to the lake where he lived, and she had this beautiful golden ball. Now, he wished he had a golden ball. Wouldn't that be fun to play with, he thought. A golden ball. Maybe she would give that to me. Well, she was throwing it up in the air every single day. It was her favorite toy. She would throw it up and catch it, and throw it up and catch it, and he watched. He watched and he watched. He wanted that ball. Finally, one day, what did he do? He hopped right in front of her. It distracted her. She looked down and she dropped her ball, and it rolled right into that lake. She said, "Oh no, my golden ball. I want my golden ball. How will I ever get my golden ball?" He looked up at her. He said, "Well, I could get it for you." She said, "Oh, you're a talking frog. I bet you're a prince, aren't you? I bet that's what you are. You're a prince, and all I have to do is kiss you, right?" He said, "Can I have the ball?" "Well, we'll see. You go get my ball for me." And so he went down, down, down to the bottom of that lake, and he pushed, and he pushed, and he pushed, and he pushed until he popped that ball right out of the water. She took that ball, and she started walking home with it. She looked down. She said, "Do you want to come to my house with me?" He said, "Yeah." "Can I play with the ball?" "We'll see." He said, "I'm pretty hungry. Could I eat from your plate?" "Well, I don't know." "Well, I guess you did get my ball for me." He said, "Could I sleep on your pillow?" Sleep on my pillow? A frog? I don't know. I suppose. "Can I have the ball?" "Well, not yet. It's still my favorite ball." And so they went to her castle. He was hopping right next to her. She was walking along. When she got to the house, though, she didn't really like the whole idea of a frog eating from her plate. So she closed the door before he could even come in. He knocked on that door, slap, slap, slap with his little foot. Her father said, "Who's at the door?" "Oh, it's a frog. He wants to eat from my plate. He really wants my golden ball, but I'm trying to put him off." So He said, well, let him in. Did you promise him? Well, sort of. All right, well, let him in. So she let him in. And when they went to dinner that night, up on the table he hopped, and he ate from her plate. She didn't really like that. She carried her golden ball upstairs, and she locked her room. Well, after dinner, he knew he was supposed to sleep on her pillow. He knocked on her door, slap, slap, slap. But she didn't answer. Her father said, did you promise he could sleep on your pillow too? And from her room she said, yes. Well, open your door and let him in. So she did. She said, now, if you are a handsome prince, then I need to kiss you, because this would make it all right if you were a handsome prince. Otherwise, you're just a plain old frog. He said, well, the magic doesn't happen immediately. She said, it doesn't? No, it takes overnight, so I would have to sleep on your pillow. So she picked up that frog and she said, you mean if I kiss you now, you'll be a prince by morning? And so she kissed him right on the frog lips. Ew. She put him on her pillow and she went to sleep, thinking that in the morning he would be a handsome prince. When she woke up in the morning, she didn't see the frog, and she did hear somebody downstairs. It sounded like a handsome prince. And when she looked over the railing, why, sure enough, there was a handsome prince down there. It wasn't the frog, though. No, that frog, before she even knew it, he had taken that golden ball and he had escaped in the middle of the night. And so from that day on, that frog had something to play with, and he was happy once again. That is the revised version of the Frog Prince. Thank you. Are we? So now those were fractured fairy tales. I know, you know, that some of those you know, probably all of those you know, because we can't have a fractured fairy tale unless we know the original fairy tale and see how it has changed. Thank you for listening today.